Greetings, Dr. Wolfula here to present a very important special audio presentation that your ears cannot dare unlisten to. Does that make sense? Oh, it doesn't matter. Listen to this.
Welcome to someone's favorite movie. I'm coming to you from the Podcheck outside beautiful Bay City, Michigan. My name is Randy, and with me is the cruelest jaw there ever was. His name is Tomko. What's up, sir?
Oh, just getting ready to sink the mandible claw into this one, sir.
Well, I hope you folks are real excited. I hope you're all on the edge of your seats with anticipation because this time we're covering Jaws. Yeah, not that one. No, not even Jaws the Revenge. This is Cruel Jaws.
AKA Jaws 5 in some territories.
Some territories needed to make a quick buck, okay? Who can blame them?
So I don't know if I asked you this when you announced this epic production that we were going to take part in, but how did you discover this movie?
I discovered it because I was looking up Orca, the killer whale, which is a great Jaws knockoff. Because I had just watched Grizzly, which is also a sort of Jaws knockoff with a bear, which we're going to cover at some point this year. Don't worry, Tomko.
Hey, you know what? I like bears.
Okay.
I don't care if we're talking about grizzly bears or your co-host over on Miserable Retail Slave.
Oh,
I'm a fan.
He's a cuddly little Pooh Bear, isn't he?
Though?
Oh. So I was looking up like Jaws ripoffs because I became a little bit fascinated that Jaws kind of inspired this whole when animal attacks ordeal without actually showing much of the animal for great portions of the movie. So I was like, I wonder what else is out there. And this was on whatever list I discovered. And I'm like, Cruel Jaws. What a name. What a title. It
is a good title.
It's a great title. Let me read about this. And also it kind of reminded me of Moose Jaws, which was a long promised threat that Kevin Smith had that he was going to make about a rabid moose in the wilds of Canada. I mean, we know how Kevin Smith is when he runs his mouth about future projects, but
still waiting for it, somebody.
I think you're going to be waiting a good long while, sir.
I think so.
Yep. So I saw Cruel Jaws on the list. I'm like, oh, God, what's this? And I saw it was on Amazon Prime, and I started researching it. I was like, oh, this sounds like a perfect movie for someone's favorite movie. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, yes, this is perfect.
You know what? You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. This movie has it all, Tomko. It's got cringeworthy lines, ridiculous scenes, a little bit of plot that makes it interesting, dumb jokes, horrible acting, and that ever-pervasive feeling of, how the fuck did this ever get made?
Not only that, but how the fuck did they not get sued?
How did they not get sued? So this movie features, numerous great shots of sharks and underwater footage and
taken directly from other movies.
Yeah, and that's the only reason they're really great, because they were stolen from other movies. So there was one movie in particular called, I can't find it anymore. It makes me mad. I want to say it was like
Is it The Last Shark?
Yeah, it's The Last Shark. So after I watched Cruel Jaws, I actually watched part of The Last Shark, and I'm like, oh my God, Cruel Jaws lifted entire sequences from that. That entire part in Cruel Jaws where they're on the regatta, which is a fancy like sail surfboard tournament or something.
Windsurfing, sir.
Whatever. I'm not no hippie. You know. I know you were an avid windsurfer in your youth, but not
I
me.
was alive during the 80s. I remember when that was a big deal.
I keep my feet planted on the ground because you know what's in the water? Sharks. All right? Okay. Anyways, that entire
enough.
scene, other than the close-ups of two of the main actors that were clearly fake, all of those were ripped right off from that. I'm like, oh, you bastards.
So I did something different with this movie.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah, I went into this completely blind. It's like, okay, Randy wants to talk about this. Great title. Just sit down and pop it on my Plex server. And I was immediately confused. I had the hardest time just kind of following what little plot there was. So I decided to take a look at various reviews on YouTube just to make sense of this. And the reason why I don't really like doing that is because I don't want those other reviews informing what I say on this show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think I needed the context of those just to kind of form some kind of connective tissue for this movie. Because walking into it blind, I had no idea what the fuck was going on because it's so badly edited and badly paced.
It really is. Like the beginning of the movie, the first like 3-4 minutes, good luck trying to figure out what the fuck's going on there.
Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but you provided me with a copy of this, for which I'm, genuinely grateful. But the quality of it was odd.
Very, yeah.
The sound mixing was... the background noise was louder than the dialogue in most of the movie. The scenes were so dark that, I've seen more details in a painting of ninjas fighting in a train tunnel at midnight.
Well,
that was easier to make out what was going on in like the underwater scenes in this movie.
Well, it does that stupid thing where instead of shooting at night or what have you, they decided we'll just shoot during the day and put a blue filter over it so it looks like night. And that never works. It never looks good.
Well, no, that didn't work. But like you go to this movie, you expect to see, some gnarly shark action, and they try to show it, but it was just so damn dark. I couldn't make anything out.
Well, you're going to have to forgive this movie because it's an Italian film, So maybe the sound mixing is off because there's dubbing galore. And,
oh, yeah.
And I mean, you can't show too much of the shark action because then they might get sued. Just like how at one point they nearly launch into the fucking Star Wars theme song.
Several times.
Yeah, as they get right up to that point and then they back off. You're like, oh, you're just playing with fire, aren't you?
I had to rewind that shit to make sure that I heard what I heard.
Oh yeah, it's definitely there.
I sent you a text earlier saying I don't even know where to start with this movie. What little plot there is overly simplistic. It's basically Jaws.
Yeah.
Can we just say that? It's Jaws. They lift entire plot points and sections of dialogue directly from that movie. But even though that's a movie I've seen dozens of times, it's a stone cold classic. I still had a hard time following this movie.
Well, yeah, it is a little bit hard to follow. I mean, there's a lot of teen romance in it and like, I don't know, horny dudes and partying girls and oh yeah, there's a man-eating shark and some all-important windsurfing contest, and there's a Hulk Hogan look-alike that's about to lose his aquarium. I'm like, why would you possibly cast this man who looks exactly like Hulk Hogan? His name is Richard Dew. And
that is a great name.
Isn't it, though? I actually read an interview with one of the actors in the movie who said that he was a Hulk Hogan impersonator at one point in his life. Richard Dew was.
You don't say.
Yeah. which who knew there was a career for that? But there you go. However, my thing was, one, did you really think Hulk Hogan was that much of a box office draw in 1995 that you had to like cast an impersonator to ape his fame?
Even in 1985, he wasn't that much of a box office draw.
No. And the second thing is, why didn't you just ask Hulk Hogan? What the fuck was he doing? He probably would have done it. Was he making Santa with muscles or Three Ninjas? High Noon? He was too busy?
I think he was actually involved in WCW at that point.
Yeah, that never stopped him from trying to parlay his success into the movie field. He really wanted to be a movie star, ever so bad.
One thing I noticed about this movie is that a lot of the actors look like other actors. Am I the only one who noticed this?
I'm looking around the room. People are nodding and giving the thumbs up.
Yeah. I think his name was Bill.
Yeah. Billy
the
was
guy who I guess is supposed to be the protagonist, but he comes off as a massive douchebag.
He's a
He has the
massive.
glasses.
He's got the glasses. He's a massive
Looks
douchebag.
like Matt Damon.
Kinda, yeah, I could see that.
The bad guy land developer dressed exactly like Gene Hackman in the first Superman movie. I think his name's Bob. He's Hulk Hogan's son that is flirting with the land developer's daughter.
Yeah.
Imagine Billy Zane somehow got together with James Franco and they made a clone using each of their DNAs, and that would be Bob.
Oh, you know who Bob looked like to me?
Hmm.
This is a deep cut, people. Hold on to your hats. He looked like Antonio Sabato Jr. to me.
Oh, hats off to you, sir. That is a much deeper cut than Billy Zane.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm proud of that one. He looked like him to me, and I really had to look at the credits to make sure it wasn't.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in one of these productions.
Here's the thing about all these characters in this movie. Aside from the little girl in the wheelchair, they're all pretty much unlikable. I mean...
Oh, even the kid in the wheelchair kind of tested my nerves.
Well, she's super creepy. As comic relief, and to make this somewhat family-friendly and slapstick, periodically a seal would throw the mean, angry mayor dude that wants to evict her family from the aquarium. Occasionally a seal would knock him into the water, and then Hulk Hogan would laugh, and then the girl would go, hee. Which
makes me wonder, who was this movie made for?
Right? And every time the camera would zoom right in on her face, and it was really weird. What an odd choice.
I'll be honest with you, I don't want to criticize her performance too much because she looked like she was maybe 11. And that would be kind of one of those situations where you kind of punch down a little too much.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's not her fault. It's just an odd choice.
Yeah. Any problems I have with her performance, and I've got plenty, I would say come down to the direction or lack thereof.
Yeah. Like you said, the protagonist is Billy, who's a know-it-all from college, and he goes on all these fishing expeditions, and he's a marine biologist in training, I think. He's not a full-on marine biologist, but he seems to know everything. And he's got a hot AF girlfriend named Vanessa, who he really could care less about. He's more interested in fish. Until one night when she wants to go dancing, and the local sheriff is like, Billy, we got to find this shark. And Billy's like, yeah, let's find that shark. And then she gets mad. And she says, I want you to find the tallest skyscraper you can and throw yourself off it and then go fuck yourself. And I said, yes, that's fun. And then she goes to the party and she starts dancing with boys. And the first boy she dances with says he's got animal magnetism and a spare set of balls because he's that much of an animal. And she says, does that mean you have enough to go around? I guess this is flirting. Eventually, she hooks up with his best friend in the water, and that's cheating on Billy, and that's a no-go. And eventually she gets killed, and that's when I was like, oh, I see, the shark is a slasher villain. He's just killing all the bad kids.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. This felt more like a slasher movie than what is supposed to be a monster movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really weird. It's got all sorts of different, and it's got like there was a scene where Billy's explaining to the sheriff what a shark is. He's like, the sheriff's like, well, what do we know about sharks? And Billy goes, well, we know there's sort of a locomotive with a mouthful of butcher knives, and all they really know how to do is swim, eat, and make baby sharks. Do 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 do. Baby shark. Do 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 do. Baby shark.
That
Do
line,
do
though,
do do do.
that sounds familiar. Where have I heard that before?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are just lifted directly from other much better movies. And I'm glad you mentioned the sheriff.
Yeah.
One of the reviews I watched described him as, I think they said it was a Costco level of Patrick Duffy.
That's good.
That is really good. Yes.
Oh, bravo.
I just didn't know what to make of this actor or the character, because clearly I'm being generous by using the term actor. And the character was just bizarre because I don't know, he's literally jumping over handrails for no reason whatsoever. It's just a weird character.
Yeah, it is a weird character, and I know his name is Francis because every time Billy talks to him, he makes sure to say his name Francis several times. I don't know what to do, Francis. Francis, what should we do, Francis? It's like, stop it. No.
Well, from what I understand, the director of this movie didn't speak a lot of English.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having like Italian translated to English badly.
Yeah.
And being fed to American actors. And so I'm trying not to be too mean to the actors because they're doing as they're directed, but goddamn.
Yeah. I mean, so that same interview I read with that actor who was in the movie, Jay Colligan, who played Tommy in the movie. I don't remember really what he did or anything. Who cares?
I was going to say, who the hell's Tommy?
I don't know. Who is Tommy?
Seriously, I just it's like, okay, the bad guy's kid, dime store Marty Jannetty. You know, I'm just remembering these people based on who they look like.
That wasn't Tommy. That was Ronnie.
I got to give kudos to you. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. Don't praise me too much. Because I'm trying to figure out who Tom. Anyways, so in that same interview, he mentioned how the translations didn't always translate into something awesome, which is why you have that scene where the girls are yelling "Dick Brain, Dick Brain, Dick Brain" at that guy.
You know, I genuinely tried to take notes for this, and right about at that point, I gave up because I was pausing this movie every 30 seconds to just write down something absurd that's going on.
I mean,
it's like I don't think I've ever heard the phrase "dick brain," let alone used as an insult, and let alone used in that like that cadence.
I mean, there's all sorts of absurdities. Let's start with the fact that, well, this is the one thing that Jaws does not. I mean, we see the shark somehow pull a helicopter directly out of the sky. It was like 20 feet in the air.
Okay, did he actually pull the whole helicopter out of the sky, or
did he jump?
Well, did he jump, or did he just pull the helicopter down to kind of tip it over a little bit, causing Patrick Duffy to fall to his death?
I don't know. It was very unclear. All I know is I saw a shark eating a helicopter, so that was pretty cool.
Why not?
Why not? It's really unclear how that happened. I choose to believe he pulled it down with his sheer grit and willpower.
what did they say? He's like 24 or 25 meters long,
Yeah.
which who in America doesn't measure things in meters?
And not only that, Timko, I say he's got I say he's got grip because he is a Navy trained death machine, an attack shark trained by the Navy in a massive experiment.
Yeah, how did they figure that shit out?
Well, because you see, at the beginning of the movie, those divers were investigating a shipwreck, and it was rumored to have Navy property on it. And so they just put two and two together and was like, oh, it must be that shark. That shark really has a vendetta against all the people. So, and at one point,
no, not only that, but Patrick Duffy goes on to say that it's a homicidal maniac.
it really is.
Think about that. What does the first part of the word homicidal mean?
Human.
Or same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Way to go, Italy. I'm blaming the entire nation on this one.
That's what they think the Navy does, is just train sharks to fuck shit up, apparently.
Well, if they don't, they should.
They should. There's also a scene near the end of the movie where the rich mayor's punk-ass son goes out to get the shark because his mayor dad is being roughed up by some mafia folks, apparently, for some reason, because of this fucking shark. And him and his hooligan friends go out on the ocean to kill this shark with a shotgun. And Ronnie, the punk ass, ends up in the water and he's getting eaten. So his brilliant girlfriend decides that she's going to throw, for some reason, a gas can that's leaking gas all over herself into the ocean at the shark. Like, what's that going to do? At the same time she lifts it above her head, her brilliant friend there fires off a flare gun, causing the entire boat to explode. What?
Yeah, and the best part about it is that not only was it, of course, badly acted, because of course, cruel jaws, of course it's going to be.
Yeah.
But they didn't even bother to have a special effect as much as they first superimposed flames over the actors.
Yeah.
And then I think I heard it was Jaws 2 that they ripped off or at least lifted footage of an exploding boat and then put it into this film.
Yeah, that tracks. That makes sense.
And before we move past this scene, one of the things that I noticed right away was I'm not a big gun guy. I don't go hunting, but I've got a elementary grasp of the way that guns work. Do you notice that when they had the 12 gauge shotgun that Marty Jannetty was firing off into the water, not only were there no special effects for it, no smoke or, sparks coming out of the barrel, but the gun made a kapow sound every time he cocked the gun.
That's not how guns work?
That is not how guns work.
I mean, I feel like I've been misled.
I hate to be the one to break it to you, but I think you might have been. So I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, there's really... Okay. I know I said that I wasn't going to punch down at this little girl, and it's not her fault.
It's not her fault.
Not her fault.
No.
The introduction to her was baffling because it shows her swimming with dolphins.
Yep.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What kid wouldn't want to do that? And she is clearly swimming like a goddamn fish. And then they cut to her being pulled out of the water and placed in a wheelchair. When just like 10 seconds previous, she was swimming and you could literally see her legs moving.
Whoops. I mean, maybe the dolphins were helping her. Those dolphins were super intelligent. They were very Flipper-esque. Like, when those ruffians were trying to poison them with poisoned fish, the dolphins were like, oh, no. And when Hulk Hogan came a-running, the dolphin...
And smelled the poison
Yeah.
through the fish.
Yeah. When Hulk Hogan came a-running, the dolphin pointed out some key piece of evidence just laying there.
You know, I have to give this movie credit. The ruffians were probably the least sympathetic bad guys this side of zombies, because once you stoop so low as to poison dolphins, I can watch those characters die and not feel a thing.
Yeah, that was pretty low.
That was.
I mean, so they deserve to get blown up by a flare gun and eaten by a shark.
Yes. Tell me about your experience watching this movie. I'm just wondering what went through your head as this was unfolding in front of your eyes.
I actually was thinking about how fun this would be to watch while drinking and hanging out with some friends.
Yes.
On a big screen.
Yes.
With the horrible line deliveries and just the absurd, like, randomly a seal will make a noise and the camera will do an extreme close-up on it. So, I mean, you've got weird line deliveries, absurd editing and camera angles, and just all around B-movie greatness. I was just like, this would be so much fun to watch and just...
Imagine it in a theater with like-minded individuals.
Oh, yeah, this would be a great midnight movie, for sure. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, it's not the best movie ever, but it's fun, I think, in a weird way.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'll be honest with you, watching it by myself was kind of boring because you could tell that they were padding the fuck out of this movie just to approach an hour and a half runtime.
Yeah, I mean, it barely squeaks an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. But it's like I told you in that text message, I wish that we could figure out a way to like live stream a commentary on Twitch or something, because sitting down with somebody and kind of talking about this movie as it's actually happening, I think would be a lot of fun.
We could probably make that happen at some point over Twitch, I think.
I think we should look into that, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to start doing that for certain movies. This one definitely would be a hoot to do it with.
Oh, God, yes. Yes. If we could get a group of people, like if we could get Nick from Epic Film Guys, this would be amazing.
Right. I mean, this movie was released on DVD in Europe in 2009. A Blu-ray from Scream Factory was planned but canceled because they couldn't find any wiggle room around all the unauthorized footage, but somehow Severin Films released it last September on Blu-ray and DVD.
Get it while you can, folks, because it's probably going to be banned.
Yeah, this is one of those that if you appreciate physical media, you might want to grab onto this because it's not going to be around forever. That's for sure.
No.
All you film archivists out there, grab it.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned years because this was originally released in 1995.
Yeah.
It looks and feels like it was originally released in 1985.
Yeah, it really does. I can't figure that out. Like everything from the style and the hairstyles and just the style of filmmaking. Maybe that's attributed to all the ripped off footage, I guess, but still the main actors and stuff definitely give off that 80s vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Or since it's an Italian movie, so maybe they were just, I mean, I don't know how American movies released over there went in the 90s, you know what I mean? Maybe they were a bit behind and still watching 80s movies in the 90s from America. So they assume that's what the culture and fashion still was? I don't know. That's my best guess, I guess. Guess.
That, you know what? That's as good a guess as any.
I mean, yeah. That's what we're going with. That should be the blurb on the cover of the Blu-ray. That's my best guess, I guess.
Oh, speaking of the Blu-ray, did you know that it came with a novelization of this?
Oh, shut up. No, I did not.
Oh, can you imagine reading this goddamn novel? I
Who
mean, first of all, it'd probably take you like 5 minutes, but still.
who wrote a novelization of this?
I don't know, but it came packaged with the Blu-ray.
That's fantastic. That's got to be awful.
Not only that, but the Blu-ray comes with not one, but 2 different versions of the movie.
Wow.
Yes. I'm not sure why. Probably for marketing reasons. The director of this movie used a pseudonym in certain territories, one of which was William Snyder. Well, they found some extra footage and they edited it back into the main feature, and they called it the Snyder Cut.
You're making that up.
I am not making that up.
Oh, that's great. By the way, you can buy the novelization from Severin at severinfilms.com. Cruel Jaws novelization for $15.
$15?
Yep.
God damn.
Now a sensational motion picture. It says right on the cover. Sensational motion picture. And it's got the shark nose up in the air, exactly like a Jaws, but he's out of the water, so it's different.
A little bit stiffer.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with this movie, but sort of. So I was at a bookstore in Midland, Michigan a couple weeks ago. I was in a Barnes & Noble. And you know how you randomly pick up on conversations? Well,
Yeah.
I was listening to a few of the people working at the bookstore talk. They're just shooting the shit at the information desk, because what else do you got to do at a bookstore all day long? And this young girl was like, hey, have you ever heard of Peter Benchley? I don't know what led up to this. And they're like, yeah, didn't he write Jaws or something? She was like, yeah, that's my great uncle. And I'm
No
like,
shit.
what? And
Did you run up to her immediately and start asking her, like deeply personal questions?
I really wanted to. I'm like, oh my God. And the guy was like, he was a little bit older. He's like, oh, he wrote Jaws. Are you rich then? Is your family rich? And she goes, well, not my side of the family, but he's rich, and they were just talking a little bit more, and she mentioned his he had a brother like Roger Benchley or something like that, who wrote something, and then the guy was like, wow, that's amazing. My greatest claim to fame is like my great aunt. She's one of the people that betted Ernest Hemingway back in the day.
That is awesome.
I'm like, I could sit in this bookshop all day long and listen to you guys talk.
My greatest claim to fame is no, I'm not related to David Allan Coe. Stop asking me.
I won't.
Thank you. All right, Randy. So bottom line, do you recommend Cruel Jaws, aka Jaws 5?
I thought it was like I said, it's a fun ride. If you like B movies, then you'll enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's best served with an audience of more than you.
Yes.
And maybe some beverages, but I think it's a good time. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. I realize it's a horrible movie, but sometimes they're fun. So that's where I stand on it. How about you?
Honestly, when I was watching it, I was kind of pissed that I was watching it.
Right?
Because I've been watching like a lot of 1980s wrestling, and I'm thinking, God damn it, I could be watching the actual real life Hulk Hogan right now instead of this.
You're like, God damn it, Randy did it to me again.
But the more I'm thinking about it, and especially having a chance to talk about it, I can see where this movie would be just an absolute blast to watch with a crowd of people. If you go into it and just expect a dumb, cheesy House 2 level of a movie, you're going to have a blast. But if you're going into it completely blind, be warned.
I did a little more research And pretty much all of the actors and actresses from this movie never did anything else after this.
You don't say.
However, I did find this story about Richard Dew. I discovered this, and it was making the rounds in 2006. This was during Hulk Hogan's return to the WWE.
I don't remember that well.
Yeah, it was a good time to be a Hulkster fan. At one show, after Monday Night Raw went off the air, one Randy Orton brought in Richard Dew to the ring to spoof Hulk Hogan. The article says that Richard Dew's 7 inches shorter and 90 pounds lighter than Hulk Hogan, but facially still looks the same. And Richard Dew said, "This may be my last hurrah, so what could be better than getting to work with the greatest, most well-known pro wrestler in the business? I felt like Sylvester Stallone getting beat up by this man. This is a dream come true." I mean, so
my hat's off to you, Richard Dew.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, he got his time to shine. He was also, according to the same article, oh my God, a body double for the Hulkster in Hulk Hogan's wonderful TV series Thunder in Paradise.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is amazing because if you look at Hogan at that time period, when he was off the juice, the similarities are even stronger.
Yeah. That's great.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we ever fire up a Patreon page, I kind of want to do like Thunder in Paradise synopsises or Baywatch or something. Like, all those beach shows are just amazing.
Yeah.
He served as a body double in Thunder in Paradise, worked as an impersonator at Atlantic City Hotel, then scored an acting role in a 1995 B movie, Cruel Jaws. Good for him.
You know what? You took what the good Lord gave you and you made the most of it. Good for you.
As of this article, it says that his full-time job, at least in 2006, was working for the Transportation Security Administration at Miami International Airport. And he's constantly being referred to at work as Mini Hulk. So, there you go. Good for him.
We got to get him on the show.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be... he probably has the time.
I'm sure he has the time. I hope he's, still with us. That would be fun. Tell us about Cruel Jaws.
Yes, I want to have an in-depth conversation with this guy about that movie.
Yeah. What was your experience like? Bruno Mattei, I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure. He directed this movie. He had a pretty prolific career.
Yes, from what I understand, he had a whole genre onto himself, making Italian ripoffs of other movies.
I think I don't know what else he would be famous for.
Well, he had a movie called Terminator 2: Dark Justice.
I'm looking at one called Robo War, and it looks like the main character is sort of a ripoff of RoboCop. So there's that. Rats, Night of Terror, White Apache, Strike Commando, which looks like a G.I. Joe thing, Zombie 3.
Ooh, that might be interesting.
Maybe. Snuff Trap. In the Killing Striptease 2. I mean, he's got a large body of work, which stretches from 1958 to 2007 when he passed. So, I mean, good for him.
I was going to say, yeah, he made a go out of it.
He really did. So, I guess that's all I really have to say about this movie, Cruel Jaws. Tomko, where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
You can find me on a little show that publishes periodically called Jake and Tom Conquer the Group. Or, I'm sorry, God damn it. Jake and Tom Conquer the World. It's been described as the conversations of the couple of dorks that you'll have at the other end of the bar talking about comic books, movies, television, as well as how to abuse time travel. If you want to find us, you can find us on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Amazon, and on Facebook at Jake and Tom Conquer the Group, and on Twitter at Drunken Dork. Randy, what about you?
I am at mretailslave on that twitter.com. You can join our Facebook group, Miserable Retail Slave, on that Facebook. Miserable Retail Slave is a big dumb comedy show. It's our 9th year. We have fun doing it. I've also started recently a Detroit Tigers fan cast with my friend Dennis. That's been a lot of fun. That's been surprisingly fun for me. So if you like baseball and or the Tigers from Detroit, you should listen immediately. What else? Oh, yeah. I've got a Seinfeld rewatch podcast that's going to be starting soon. So there's that.
I was going to ask about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's still there. I just have, I don't know where all my free times went. Maybe recording podcast, huh? Maybe that's all I do. But it's coming. It's coming down the pike, all right? As for us, this program, next time we're covering a little franchise, just in time for the release of the newest. We're covering the Candyman. What do you know about the Candyman franchise, sir?
I remember watching it when I was in middle school. And it's got Tony Todd, and I remember being kind of impressed by Tony Todd.
Yeah, Tony Todd's great. Tony Todd follows me on Twitter. What up, Tony?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I know. Should get him on the podcast.
Oh, shit.
Well, it would be great to, but, you know, he's in the newest Candyman coming out, which I appreciate ever so much.
Yeah.
That they're like, no, this isn't just some lame reboot. We're going to treat this as a sequel, and we're getting fucking Tony Todd in it, too. I'm like, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
So, the Candyman franchise consists of 3 movies with a 4th to come. We're covering the first 3, obviously. And we're going to cover I'm going to cover. You're under no obligation to cover the short story on which it was based, Tomko. And I'm curious to see what you think of this film franchise. I revisited it.
I am too.
I revisited it earlier this summer, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. I'm probably going to watch it again. I've watched the first Candyman so many times. It's one of my all-time favorite horror movies, so I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to this, actually.
Yeah. After that, we're going to continue our goddamn tour of summer when it's so hot and musty and steamy out there. Oh, God. What sort of horrors can possibly await us, Tomko?
I don't know, but I have a feeling it's going to be humidity-based.
Oh, it is. We're going to take a hard ticket to Hawaii at some point, Tomko.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Yeah. And after that, we're going to cool it down a little bit. Because it's going to get cool as ice, baby.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Have you ever seen Cool as Ice?
Fuck no.
Oh, boy. You're welcome.
Oh, God.
I mean,
the things I do for podcasting.
Right? If there isn't a ringing endorsement, I don't know what is. So stay tuned as we continue to torture poor little Tomko here and see if next week is the week he finally quits the show.
Yes, as Tom has to go to the bedroom so he doesn't subject his wife to these movies.
This podcast should be subtitled, Tomko is getting a divorce soon.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Cruel Jaws, you've been sufficiently criticized. Candyman, you're up next. And all you fine folks, we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.